Hey guys, it's Chris from Deep Inside Social, and today I wanted to talk about another very interesting topic. Specifically, when learning seduction, when learning how to be better with girls, are there any levels of skill? I've had lots of guys say the words, beginner, advanced, intermediate, without having a clear understanding what those levels actually mean. The way you should think about it is that there are four of them. Four levels of seduction skill: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and expert. But what do these terms actually mean? In practice, in real life, this will be our topic for today. But before we jump into it, I want to add one little caveat. Every single one of these levels that I have just mentioned can be described based on two things. How do you feel about yourself and your interactions with women? And how do women perceive you? And with that caveat in mind, let's get into it.
Wow, dude, that's deep.
What are the main characteristics of a beginner? Mostly, it's all about how they feel internally. So a beginner is somebody who has quite a lot of anxiety, scared to talk to people, scared to talk to girls, terrified of rejection, terrified of being laughed at, terrified of being looked at and judged by other people, terrified of everything pretty much. As a result of all that fear, they have no idea what's going on when they're talking to girls. They might say something great or say something very stupid, and they have no idea what is actually going on. They have no perception of reality because they are completely stuck in their own head. And so, since they can't emotionally read any situation, there is no feedback from the girls that they can easily process. Now that's how beginners feel, but what do they think of themselves? They believe that they are quite weird, unattractive, undesirable, not worthy of love, not worthy of attention, not worthy of anyone being attracted to them. Now all of this paints a pretty bleak picture. And the truth is that guys who are still trying to get girls, still trying to get better, often end up with lots of blowouts, lots of quick conversations where girls go, okay, nice to meet you, bye. As you may have guessed, being on this level is really not enjoyable. It's not fun at all. It's actually quite terrible. Now, how do girls perceive beginners? How do girls feel about them? Girls have different reactions to men like that, depending mostly on their level of empathy. Because if you have somebody coming up to you or having a conversation with you at the bar, and you can see that they are sweaty and really nervous and almost pissing themselves when they talk to you, you will not be attracted to them. Your reaction would be either one of disgust and being creeped out, like, ew, this guy is so nervous. Ew. If you have low empathy, that's how you would feel. And if you have some empathy towards other people, then you would probably go, they're trying. He's trying, she's trying. Okay, that's sweet. So usually girls feel in one of those two ways. Either creeped out or, oh, that's adorable, they're trying. As you probably noticed, none of them would ever result in the girl thinking, I want to have sex with him. That's not happening. And that's the life of a beginner. This is where things start to get a little bit interesting. Who is an intermediate? How can you spot them in real life? How can you tell that you are an intermediate? How about we do a quick test? Have you ever had the problem that you get lots of numbers and lots of Instagram contacts, but girls don't respond to your messages and don't really want to go out with you? And I don't mean most girls don't respond or most girls don't go out with you. That happens depending on how you meet them. I'm talking about very, very few girls even responding to you or going out on dates. Have you ever felt like you're an imposter? That the more time you spend with a girl, the more she has a chance to find out that you're not actually as cool as you pretend you are? Or maybe you feel like you're quite comfortable in some situations when it comes to the whole seduction process, but you still have some anxiety lingering in unusual situations, like for example when there's high pressure, when people are looking, or where you're talking to a group of girls that you don't know. If you answered yes to any of those questions, then congratulations, you're an intermediate. For intermediates, talking to girls and seducing them becomes slowly much more enjoyable. Now, how do girls perceive intermediates? And that's an interesting question. Because girls will occasionally feel, wow, this guy is amazing, he's really cool. And suddenly sometimes go, oh, why does he say something so weird? Is he really okay? And then suddenly again, oh yeah, he's fun. But he's a bit strange. This is unusual. This kind of amplitude, this variation of, oh great, oh horrible, oh amazing again, oh this is terrible. This is how girls often perceive intermediates. And some girls would feel like, oh yeah, I like the guy enough to ignore some mistakes and problems with the interaction. He's not exactly smooth all the time, but he's smooth enough and fun enough for me to go home with him and see what happens. To sum it all up, being an intermediate is a lot more fun than being a beginner, but it's still quite frustrating because you're putting a lot of effort in and you often don't understand why you don't get the results that you really want. And for girls, it's a quite interesting experience because they're not sure how to deal with you. However, there's one problem with being an intermediate. Because you're occasionally getting girls, and especially if you're quite good looking or really good looking, you might be getting a lot of girls. So it's very easy to believe mistakenly that you're much better than you actually are. It's very easy to feel that, oh, well, if I just do the same thing over and over again enough times, I'll get some girls. And that is true. And that's why most men who learn how to be better with girls, who learn seduction, actually stop at intermediate. A lot of men who even don't do that, a lot of guys who just try naturally to meet girls, they are around that level unless they have quite a lot of anxiety. So they're either beginner or intermediate. Because in order to reach the next level, there's a lot of really hard and excruciatingly painful work required. And that's who an intermediate is. Now, the description of this level is something that many of you will find very interesting. Because lots of guys wonder if they are already advanced, and what does that exactly mean? Does it mean you have some magic wand that you can just do swish and flick, and now girls go, oh my god, I'm so wet, and take off the panties? No. To put it simply, as an intermediate, you are trying to be the kind of guy that girls really like and really fancy. On the advanced level, you are that guy. You have actually become who you wanted to be. In other words, remember how girls can be divided into 3 categories very quickly upon your first few minutes of the interaction? They are either yes girls, they fancy you, they like you, and they are open to being with you or getting with you that night. There are the maybe girls who are open to meet someone and you could be that guy, but they're absolutely nowhere near certain that they fancy you after a few minutes. And then there are the no girls who upon approach, upon a few first minutes think, yeah, this guy is not my type, I don't like him at all. He is too short, too fat, too skinny, too pale, too tanned, looks stupid, I don't like his shirt, whatever the reason. The intermediate gets the yes girls, whereas the advanced guy gets the maybe girls, at least on occasion. All of this means that it's very enjoyable to be an advanced guy, because the fear of being an imposter that you had as an intermediate, that girls will find out that something's wrong with you, that you're not as cool as you claim you are, all of that is gone, because now you are really awesome, and girls love you. So the imposter syndrome is completely gone. The more time you spend with a girl, the better for you. So time works in your favor. And how do girls respond to advanced guys? Well, girls love to go on dates and meet cool, amazing dudes who get girls who are intelligent, smart, caring, who have great game. Girls love it, it's so much fun for them. So they genuinely enjoy your company. That's why being advanced is so great, because you're having fun, you're enjoying yourself, you're less worried about what's going to happen, and the girls love you, they enjoy themselves. And by the way, you will still get rejected by most girls. However, you will begin to hear quite regularly from multiple girls sentences such as these. Oh my god, you're so cool, you're so amazing. I have a boyfriend, but my friend here is single. And they point at the attractive friend who is single. And they grab you and they take you over there in order to introduce you to their friend. Has that ever happened to you? Because if it has, and it happens regularly, that means you are advanced. Because the girls respect your masculinity. You might not be for them exactly, but they will still think that you are amazing and that their single friends need to meet you. So if that happens to you all the time, good job, you are most likely advanced and keep it up. And finally, who is an expert? What can be above advanced? We talked about the yes girls, the maybe girls, and the no girls. To clarify, I don't mean girls who say no. Do respect that, and we do believe in affirmative consent. We're talking about girls who think to themselves, nah, I don't fancy this guy after a few minutes of the interaction, or even just by looking at you. Whatever the reason, they don't like you, they don't fancy you, and they will never ever sleep with you. Those are the no girls. Now, how does an expert deal with that? Can experts get those no girls? Yes and no. What makes a guy an expert is two things they do. First of all, they improve everything they can to limit the number of girls who would say no from the start. So they work very hard on their looks, on their status, on their fashion sense, etc. They will leave no stone unturned in order to make sure that as many girls as possible can like them from the start. Secondly, they are pretty much perfectly charismatic in every single thing they say or do in a social situation. Even some of those no girls will be automatically drawn to those guys, and they will just love to hang out with them and then to sleep with them, even though initially they might have thought, nah, I don't like this guy, he's not my type, whatever. And then after 1 hour of seeing him in a social situation, having lots of fun around him, seeing how everyone loves him, she goes, you know what, he's ugly, fuck it, I love him. Of course, there will always be some no girls who are impossible to turn, and there's nothing you can do. And even experts might not be able to change that. That happens. But an expert will maximize his chances in every way in order to be the amazing guy that girls truly desire. Of course, there are very few experts in the world, but if you have ever heard from a girl the following statement after she had sex with you, she looks at you up and down, looks at your flat, looks at your style, and says out loud, you know what? You are completely not my type. I don't know how it happened, but well done. I remember the first time it happened to me, and it was a shocking thing to hear. Even though I was aware that she wasn't exactly into me from the start, I was still very surprised to hear that. And that statement was a very good sign when it comes to my game. And I hope that it will happen to all of you one day. To sum it all up, let's go through the levels and quickly describe them again. A beginner is somebody who gets either no girls or gets the occasional shy, innocent girl who finds his bubbling buffoon ways really charming, adorable, and comfortable. An intermediate gets the yes girls who are quite attracted to you early on, and you're supposed to get them. And an intermediate will actually get these girls because he understands the basics and does enough things well. But there is still a strong imposter syndrome and the fear that girls will find out that you're not cool enough. An advanced is someone who gets the maybe girls, who does a lot of things really well, who has a deep understanding of game, and is able to get the girls who are open to it, just not necessarily convinced from the start. And finally, an expert is somebody who maximizes his chances in every way possible to limit the number of no girls to an absolute minimum. And on top of that, an expert is able to exude such natural confidence and charisma. Even some of the no girls find him so irresistibly attractive. Some of them. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you really enjoyed it. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, click that like button and subscribe to our channel. It will help a lot. Cheers guys, and see you next time.